Hi everyone, and welcome to the Tony Tompkins Show, an opportunity to have a conversation with both Avery and myself. Now, Avery's been missing for a few weeks, primarily because I stuffed up the technical side of things. However, we've sorted it all out. Avery is back with us, and today we're going to talk about some really important things. But before we do, I just want to remind you all, because this is really helpful, doesn't cost you anything, but please subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell for further notifications. Make some comments below. I love your comments. It's exciting to know that you've got something to contribute, and it's good to know that we can have a reasonable discussion about things that matter to you. And particularly, I want to talk about let's open it up today so that we can have a fantastic conversation. We've already got a number of people. Oh, Barron's back, and pseudo-intellectual. Oh, I'm even there. How did that happen? Anyway, let me know what you think, and let's have a conversation. And it's I'll read you. I'll just let your messages come up first, and then I'll play them back so that Avery can see them, and we'll have a discussion about them then. Today we're going to talk about immigration rally, the Nazis. We're going to talk about the impact that has, having a look at the immigration system as it stands and whether or not that can be improved or should be improved, and whether people lack knowledge and information about all that. I've done some posts on that as well, so please have a look at those. I also, perhaps I haven't mentioned this to Avery pre-conversation, but I want to talk about Gillian Siegel not being available to talk about why the Nazis were there and her comments about that. Thought that would be an interesting thing to do. I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow probably. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? There was something else. Oh yeah, Epstein and the files. I did a video on that earlier today that went out as well. I suggest that people have a look at that one also. In the meantime, I would like to welcome Avery on board. Hiya buddy, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. Last week I couldn't be with you last week because I had to go and see the ophthalmologist. I've just had a cataract surgery done in both eyes, so I can now see perfectly long distance, but I still need to put on specs for reading. Got final clearance from him. He's really pleased about how it went. I'm really pleased about how it went. As I say, threw away my glasses on the 9th of July when I had my left eye done, and when I saw him the following day, he said, "Oh, you can take these and throw them away, the glasses, because I can see perfectly well just through this eye." This eye, he said, when I asked him about that, he said, "Oh, your brain will compensate for the fact that this one's still not working properly."
Right.
Then I had the second one.
All's working, functioning. It's nice to know that you can see us now, Avery, on the screen. This is extremely. It's 20/20 vision. It's great. Hey, look, someone pseudo-intellectual. They asked me, what did he ask me? What milk am I drinking? Can you ask Avery? Okay, don't know what you mean. I have these people that come online who insist that I'm drunk. Now, have you ever known me to get drunk or to drink at all, or?
No, but then I don't spend 24 hours a day with you.
Oh, this is true. So true. But I don't drink. Anyway, people seem to think for whatever reason that I do. Let's get into.
You drink milk with magnesium. Maybe that's what he wants.
Well, someone asked me whether I did drink. He did ask me whether I drink milk, and to ask you the same question. Yeah. No, I don't. Only in coffee.
Yeah, I drink soy milk for my coffee, only because it's got extra protein than cow's milk.
Yep.
Otherwise, Coles, Woolworths brand, Paul's, I don't care.
Okay.
Whichever
thank God. I feel like that's really an important issue of the day. Thank God we got it out of the way, I reckon.
Absolutely. Deal with the most important thing first, what milk I drink. Now, You've got to answer the question as well, which one do you drink?
I just drink plain, ordinary Farmers Union type milk, I guess.
So a little intellectual can now go to bed. He'll get a good night's sleep.
Satisfied with the answer about what milk we drink. Yeah. It's a very important.
Milk.
So keep the questions coming. Just don't make them that personal. Okay, so I just wanted to.
Sorry, I've got to say, pseudo intellectuals just said I drink almond milk and I smoke bulk cones.
Oh, okay. So we must. Have you been?
Which is like not
Have
your
you
house.
been? So the question is, have you been smoking bulk cones now? Are you a little under the weather? If so, it will make for an interesting conversation. So I wanted to start though with a conversation around immigration.
Yeah.
So it is important for us to understand. So there's a whole host of issues that sat for me around the rallies over the weekend. Number one is if you join that. So I'll be asking you these questions, Avery, because I've already provided my answers in my videos. But I'm asking you this question now. Do you think that attending a rally such as the Australia Day, whatever it was called, the immigration rally, so supporting one of those rallies and attending, does that mean then that you tend to side with, or do you tend to support the right wing and particularly Nazis because they were dominant, or they appeared to be dominant at those rallies?
No, I don't think it does mean that. I've been to rallies where I didn't support the thing that it was standing for. I'm not. You can go to a rally of this particular thing, the Australian right opposing immigration, right? I am all for immigration. I am an immigrant, right? Every person in this country whose ancestry isn't, who's got no indigenous ancestry, is either an immigrant or a descendant of immigrants. You know, support going to a rally does not mean you support it. You might be going there to voice your opposition. Going to a right wing one, that could be a dangerous thing to do.
But I guess that's my argument. My argument is that the people that organised it were extreme right wing. One of them was a sovereign citizen, and her partner spoke at the rally. He was a neo-Nazi, I think. So the fact that they organised it, promoted it, had a group of their own people there, and I'm wondering whether they kind of coerced people who had issues around immigration to attend their rally, if you know what I mean, as opposed to it being a generalised rally for those people who had issues around. I'm going to talk about the issues in a moment around immigration, but you know, did people get coerced into going to those rallies?
Some people may do.
Some people may. I agree, absolutely. Yeah. Do you think though that they became? No, I'm going to raise another issue here now, which I think is vitally important, and that is, and so I'll put this question to you as well. Do you think people that had issues around immigration could be labelled as ignorant?
It depends upon what prompts their opposition to immigration.
Yep, and I want to say, Avery and I haven't preempted any of this. He doesn't know any of the questions I'm asking.
Nope,
he's going to be just as surprised. This is live. So, and I don't know what Avery's going to say either. And we may disagree on some of these issues, but what do you think, Avery? People?
Yeah, some people. I say it would depend upon the cause of their opposition to immigration. If they're looking at it from a purely I don't want brown people in this country, I don't want yellow people in this country, then I'm getting old. The actual question that you asked me.
Well, the question really is: did people, were people that attended the rally, in terms of their understanding? I'll reframe it. In terms of understanding their reason for being there, it was about immigration. Are they just ignorant?
Okay, yeah. So the thing I was saying, if they are opposing immigration because they don't like brown or yellow skinned people or whatever, right? They only like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants from Northwest Europe, or that sort of thing. Then I would say they're just ignorant. They're bigots, right? And bigotry is always based on ignorance. If their opposition is because they see the or they're blaming for whatever reason the state of the economy, the price of renting a house on the number of immigrants, then that's not necessarily ignorance.
Hold on. Come back a bit. So you're saying that if they're talking about, if their belief is that the number of people immigrating to Australia has impacted the number of rental houses or houses that could be purchased, even if it's impacted any of that, then that is them not being ignorant.
I said not necessarily ignorant.
Even though it's less than 4%.
Yeah.
So if people think that this immigration thing is meaning that it's affecting and impacting on the whole the way people can either rent or buy a home, that is not true. If it's only about 4%.
Yeah, it depends, and it also depends on your how you might want to, how you're using the word ignorant.
Well, I'm using it about not knowing the facts.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
They might be ignorant of the facts because if they could be low information people, in that they see it on Fox, they see it on Sky, and they don't question it. They just take that as the truth, and they can go and check it. They listen to, I don't know, Paul Murray or Andrew Bolt or somebody like that, and they say the sort of things that they heard back in the UK maybe when they lived there, or they've just heard things but don't check. They could be really
but maybe they just want to sow disinformation. Maybe the thing that disappoints me about those people, and you raise a really good point, is that they're the ones who should have the knowledge. They have the resources. They're intelligent human beings, well-educated individuals, journalists, whatever. They should have the knowledge. But even though that knowledge is available, it doesn't serve their narrative.
Oh, yeah.
So they then sow a negative or unhelpful narrative which fits more with their attacking, in that case, the Labor Party.
Yeah. No problem with that. But it all. I still think it all comes down to what the base cause of their opposition is, and that, whether it's purely just following the herd.
Yeah.
That they only associate with people who think the same sort of things. They only watch, not that you've got much choice here, but they only watch things like Sky News. Because if you watch Channel 9 or 7 or something like that, it seems to me like the most important thing in the news is how many goals somebody scored in a footy match.
Yeah,
quite frankly, Taiwan,
Well, quite frankly, given that the Crows are playing in the finals this weekend and tonight, that is a very important stat. Come to think of it.
Yeah. Today, I'll agree, or whenever. If it's happening today, is it? I mean,
tonight.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I would never have known because I don't care.
Right. Well, there you go. But I care. The son and I will be at a local pub having a look. But I guess
my point there is that you look at Channel 9, right?
Yeah.
And the news is about, it's more local, right?
Yeah.
But the most important thing that's happening here in Adelaide right now, right? Why should I watch the news that's going to be talking about world events, about Epstein, about what China's having with its big parade? They'll mention it. It's almost mentioned in passing. Most important news of the day is the guys that are out there training for tonight's grand final.
Well, I agree it is important to some of us, even not to all of us. But there again, there are lots more people. I hang around with guys who play
I'm not
golf.
saying they shouldn't put that on there. You don't make it, Russia's just killed 500 people in Ukraine. That's a more important bit of news than what a footy player is having for his tea before he plays his match.
Or whether he has a homophobic slur.
Or yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I don't disagree. I don't
you put
disagree
the
with
world
you.
thing first, or the murder that took those two cops that were killed.
Yeah.
That should come up before any footy match. But the thing here, just today down at the OTR, the advertiser, no, I take it back. It might have been yesterday. So there's somebody in a Crows t-shirt, the Crows uniform, right?
Yeah.
Headline, bloody great big picture on front page. Right?
Well, can I just remind you, Avery, we are talking about the Murdoch press, so they're not very well known for being able to produce accurate and important news on their front page at any time.
But whether it's the media, right, print media, this one down here, for example, or the 7, 9, 10, right, it seems to me that they lead all the time with things that they obviously deem extremely important. Adelaide's got the grand final tonight, right? Great, wonderful. Hope they win, right? Don't care if they do or not, right? I would much rather on a news program not have them spend 5 or 6 minutes discussing a football match that hasn't yet taken place.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I appreciate that. However, I do need to say that I was watching Question Time today, which I do because it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And during Question Time, Susan Lee asked Albanese a question. What was the question about? Oh, it raised Sherry Markson after dark had interviewed somebody and made a certain statement. And I've actually got a copy of this clip. I'm going to play it tomorrow at some point in one of my posts. But the whole Parliament, or actually the government side of the Parliament, all broke out in laughter. They could not believe that she was quoting Sherry Markson as being a reputable and the After Dark version of Sky. She couldn't believe that they were quoting her, and it was just interesting to hear that response that she was raising Sky as a reputable news outlet, and the government side just mocked her. They just laughed her. They laughed to the point whereby, Milton Dick had to come in and say, "Hold it, it's getting a bit out of hand." Yeah. So, it's the same sort of stuff. But the point I wanted to make before, Avery, is that are those people that attend these rallies? I'm not suggesting it's all of them because we know it's not, right?
Yeah.
But are a large proportion of these people that attend these rallies sold on the right-wing version of this thing called mass immigration without understanding the rules that sit around immigration anyway?
Oh, the majority of people that go to those rallies think that? How would we know?
Well, because I tell you, that's a good question. I tell you how we know, because and I don't know how, because we don't interview everybody, but when you see people interviewed, they never talk about, they won't tell you, for example, how many people migrated to Australia last year.
Yeah.
They won't tell you that the number of people that have migrated to Australia has actually decreased 37%. Yeah. They won't tell you that there was a rapid increase of immigration after COVID because we lost a lot of people during that period and our net immigration rate had fallen. And the net immigration is, people do leave the country, believe it or not, and then people return. That's your net overall migration, which is the norm they refer to. Yeah. So, but I guess my point is people don't talk about that.
There is a reason why they don't talk about the figures from last year. It's because they won't be out until next year.
Well, no, 2024 figures they were.
Yeah, 2024 figures will the
No,
fully
no, I'm quoting
consolidated one.
2024 figures are already out, mate. They're already
It's
there.
fully consolidated everything.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a statistician. I
No,
don't work for the ABS. I can only tell you what the ABS tell us,
yeah,
and they're the figures
and
that are out.
if you look,
Yep.
what I've seen on the ABS is you go and search for the latest figures in 2020. The latest you ask what was the
Well, maybe
this
they were a
number
combination of
2020
2023 to 2024. I'm not going to argue
2023
that.
to
I'm not
20.
going to argue that point with you. But what I will say is, regardless,
Yeah,
right, those figures demonstrate, and I've heard the politicians, the government actually talk about the 37% decrease.
yeah,
We
yeah.
know we know that that's happened. The point I'm making in terms of the question that you asked is, how do we know? Well,
Yeah.
people talk about it. People will say, why are you here? I'm here because immigration is too high, because we shouldn't have mass immigration. And I'm saying, if we're not going to have mass immigration, well, firstly, what in the friggin' hell do you mean by mass immigration? Should we have immigration? Should we have no immigration? Should we have, half the numbers that we've got now? And if you're going to argue, actually, I do apologise. I get rather heated up around this because I think this is where I'm referring to the ignorance. Because people don't know because they don't bother looking.
Yeah.
But the fact is that you could find these figures out, be informed, go to the rally and say, hey, we should have our immigration down to 150,000 people this coming year. I agree with immigration, as one guy said that I saw was interviewed. I agree with immigration, but I don't believe that it should be up where it is. It should be down here. And the reason why it should be down here is because we only need X number of doctors, we only need X number of nurses, we only need X number of builders, we only need X number of professionals in these certain categories, and therefore that's the reason why it should only be 150,000. But do you ever see anybody doing anything that resembles that?
No.
But that's why I say they're ignorant.
All right. The term I prefer to use is low information.
Oh well,
Because
is that a euphemism for ignorance? Low information.
no, because
I'm not saying they're stupid. I don't think these people are stupid. Far from it.
the thing is that an awful lot of people would, if you say you're ignorant, they will assume that you mean you know nothing about anything.
No, I'm just saying ignorant around this topic, which is the reason why they're at this rally, not understanding the real reasons that immigration is an issue.
It's just a quirk of mine, if you like. I prefer the term low information because that does not suggest overall stupidity or anything like that. It's a term that I picked up, I don't know, 40 odd years ago when I was a member of the Conservative Party in the UK. I don't want to admit that out loud too often.
Well, I was going to ask you, when I was thinking about us having this conversation, and I'm going to apologise to you here already, because I think I might say some things that may offend you. So for anything that I'm about to say that offends you, I apologise preemptively for offending you.
And I'll accept it preemptively.
But the Australian, yesterday apparently was Australian Flag Day. Who gives a flying F? But apparently it was. I don't know what in the hell that means. I don't know who instigated it. I don't know whether it's a government initiative or it comes from the right. If someone knows, please let me know in the comment section below. Baron says instantly, Avery, low info is very kind of you. Anyway,
Very kind of me.
very kind of you, low info, because there are probably other words we could use to describe them. But this flag thing, okay?
Yeah.
So the flag thing is we have an Australian flag. One, I don't agree with in the first place, that I don't want personally, and I want to know what other people on this discussion think. We've had 109 views so far, doing really well. Like to have more conversation. What's that?
The current flag, you mean?
I don't like the current flag. No.
You don't like it, neither do I.
No, because it's got this
And
friggin'
I
British.
don't like the current national anthem either.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Neither do I. I think we should have "We Are Australian."
Yeah.
Because I think the lyrics in that are brilliant. But nevertheless, okay, another discussion, probably for another time.
Yep.
What I thought I might be offending you over, Avery, was the Union Jack. We should abandon the Union Jack. So why is it that we want to celebrate a flag that celebrates the colonisation of this country when it was so damaging to First Nations people, with no recognition whatsoever on the flag of the people that were colonised?
Yep.
I think that's insulting. What do you think?
I 100% agree.
Oh, okay, go for it.
You're
Why
not
do you
gonna
agree?
offend- Yeah, you're not going to offend. It's like if you said, let's get rid of, let's become a republic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it this way. I think Australia should become a republic. I have got no use for kings and queens. The only place a king or queen should be is on a chessboard,
Okie dokie.
right?
Yep.
My view of the flag. The Yanks, they swear allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Right?
You do. You do you? What's wrong with you, mate?
It's a piece of cloth.
That's true.
It's a
Good
criminal offence to in the U.S. military. It's an offence against the Uniform Code of Military Justice to let it drop on the floor.
All
Right?
right.
So if they're in a battle and somebody's carrying that flag and they drop it, somebody will pick it up because it shouldn't be. So you'll never see when it's lowered. It's never allowed to touch the floor. It's a piece of cloth.
Well, okay. Now that you've raised
The
this,
UK flag is a piece of cloth. I don't care.
now that you raised this, so someone in Parliament the other day wanted to pass legislation whereby it was a crime to burn the flag. So this piece of cloth that you're talking about, apparently, according to some people, now these are ignorant people. Let's face it. We could think of another word to describe them, but they were arguing that if we burn the flag, they're trying to pass this legislation. I can't remember who it was. I wish I knew now. It might have been One Nation. Could have been. Sounds like their idiocy.
Right.
But anyway, so if we burn the flag, then that would be a criminal act. And I'm wondering, you can respond to this, I'm wondering how much like the United States are we friggin' becoming?
Too much if they're going to. Trump is just saying right now that burning the flag, right, should be a criminal offence.
Yeah, and then we've got this guy in
They wanna do
Australian
that here.
Parliament saying exactly the same thing.
Well, if the thing that I said that I would do, I said it to Sasha when Trump announced it, that the thing I would do is I would get myself a US flag and film myself burning it. And if they pass that legislation, I will be a criminal because I'll get an Australian flag and set fire to it.
Yeah. So let's
If
become criminals together.
Yeah, film it live on YouTube.
And then there's this pervading issue which also gives me the shits, and this one is that comes from the left. Sorry, it comes from the right, and particularly the Liberal Party. Is we must stand in front of the Australian flag. That flag we don't like. I don't like. We should all stand. They should stand in front of that, and that the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Island flag should be ignored. And I think if you're an Indigenous person, I mean, to me, I find it offensive, and I'm not Indigenous.
Yeah.
But is it not Indigenous people to let them know that their flags that they have adopted for them is the flag that's to be ignored in the replace of this colonial crap that only a small spectre of the right wing want? What do you think?
I agree with that as well.
Oh God!
I like the Australian flag, the Aboriginal, the Indigenous one. I can't remember exactly what the order of the colours are, but the black, the red, the yellow represent the sky, the land, and
the centre is the sun, which is the yellow. Top is black, bottom is red, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I vaguely recall because I've not seen the Torres Strait Islander people's flag very often.
It's a red, white, and green flag, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Someone
can't
will tell
remember.
me. I've got very intelligent people in our conversation here, Avery. These
I'll take a
people,
look.
the people in our conversation here, are not ignorant. They are extremely intelligent human beings. They will tell us.
Good dear. I haven't got it up to see the comments and
Right.
that. I'll look at that later. I mean,
Someone says here, Barron has also said, replace the Union Jack with the Aboriginal flag. So I might bring that up.
yeah, the blue background is meant to be the sky,
Yeah.
and the Southern Cross and then the Federation Cross.
Yeah. Aboriginal flag represents Aboriginal peoples, not the rest of Australia. We need our own. Well, I'm not 100% sure. Well, that's open for debate too.
Yeah.
Well, that was from pseudo-electoral, that one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a reasonable point, isn't it? We can
it
we can work with change and difference and a whole host of interesting conversations. So that would beg the question: what is an Australian flag then? So maybe there could be a combination of the two primary flags, which would be the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag.
We put the Torres Strait Islander flag up as well. So if you were going to do a merger of what the current Australian flag and the Aboriginal one, or you're talking about the Union Jack, right, and the Aboriginal one.
Yeah.
Whichever you're going to do, whatever combination you're going to do, you really should include the Torres Strait Islander peoples as well.
Yeah, I just want to come back to Pseudo's question. Bring it back up, Tony. Now, I wanted to think. Whoops, I just punched the wrong thing.
Nothing wrong with doing that.
I know this is a bit low for you, mate, but if I put that any higher, it cuts us off. Aboriginal flag represents Aboriginal peoples, not the rest of Australia. So the question for me around that, and it's a good point, so I'm not disputing it, Pseudo, but I am saying, so this raises the question about what does represent Australia. You know what? You know, this. I'll tell you what, another issue, just going to have another round for a second because Pseudo's just reminded me. So we talk about, so people talk about our culture. We don't want to destroy our culture. We want to make sure that we invest in our culture, that the Australian culture is fabulous. That there's the only culture we should have is the Australian culture, blah, 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 blah. And yet, I don't have anybody, this is a bit about the same issue around immigration. I don't have anybody explaining to me what the Australian culture actually is. What are you referring to? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you friggin' talking about?
Yeah. I've got no idea what the Australian culture is meant to be. Like laid back people, love their footy.
Well, that rules you out.
Play and hate that footy, and you know.
Well, bronze
like
people.
There and throwing a prawn on the barbie, and that's the sort of stuff you hear about Aussies in the UK.
Or are we supposed to be this myth as we were during World War II or World War One, where we were rugged fighters and we were diligent at our work and we were heroic and we were determined and we were. Why is this important to describe in a sort of a singular nutshell, in this one statement or this about what our culture is? Why can't our culture simply be respectful, empathetic, caring, considerate, multicultural? Bingo. Yeah, we're multicultural. I said, Avery, I said in a post I did the other day, and this is quite significant to me. My son used to live in Hurstville, in Sydney, and walking through the streets in Hurstville, it'd be difficult to find someone who looked like me. But mainly because people don't like looking like me. But apart from that, it'd be hard to find someone who looked like me. And so I loved it. It was in another world, and the food was fabulous. The people were generous. It was a most fantastic environment to be in. And I can't help but think that is who we are. like that multicultural. There was
Yeah.
this conclave that was Asian and Korean and whatever, but it was beautiful. It had an essence to it that it was difficult to find anywhere else.
Yeah.
But it was Australia. This represented who we are, I reckon, and it's about acceptance of who we are. There's I wish I could put it up. Just before I came here, as I said, I was watching Question Time, and Dr. Anne Ali gave one of the most. I'm going to put it on my a podcast tomorrow. Gave one of the most empowering speeches about multiculturalism, and she talked incidentally about how Indian people were feeling as a result of the way they were singled out during the rallies on the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's the most fabulous speech. For people that do follow me, just watch that for next time, if you wouldn't mind. I just want to remind you just to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications, do what you need to do. Doesn't cost you anything. So, what is this? Could someone tell me what does this culture mean? Aussie flags as capes and stomping on them as they walk. So many people. Okay, we'll put it up. What do you think about that, Avery? Well, I just sort some of this stuff out.
What, stomping on the flag?
Well, yeah, stomping on the flag if you like. Oh, wrong one
Freedom,
again.
freedom of speech. You're protesting about something.
They wear Aussie flags as capes and stomp on them as they walk. Is that, good point.
It depends. I mean, you're wearing an Aussie flag because you want to. I'm proud of the country I live in. You're stomping on it because I'm not proud of the things that this country does.
Yeah.
They might, if this is from that rally, the migration rally. If people at the migration rally were stomping on a flag, it could be they're protesting against the current government and what they see as the current excessive.
Yeah, I think what he's saying there, it seems to me, is that there's a contradiction between wearing this flag proudly and then tripping all over it because it's too long to be worn.
I mean, some people might be wearing the flag all the time in the entire of the rally. So I'm really proud of my country.
Yeah.
Right. And others might be just wearing it while they're going there and something's said and they take it off and throw it down on the ground and stomp on it because I fucking hate what my country's doing. I hate this government because they're.
Yeah, it could be.
Obviously.
And that was my point around the discussion before. It was that the people that attend these rallies, like I did this post on our bow needs to be tougher, right? Because I think that Albo and Penny Wong are as weak as shit when it comes to some of these issues, particularly around immigration and Israel, and if we're going to kick out the Iranian, we could talk about this. If we want to kick out the Iranian ambassador, why don't we kick out the Israeli ambassador? They're committing genocide before our very eyes. So and they haven't.
If we're selling them weapons, we should stop.
Sorry,
if we're selling the Israelis weapons, we should stop.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think, and I'm quite critical of the current government in many ways because they just haven't been tough enough on some of those other major issues. The Iranians, as terrible as they are, and they should be listed as a terrorist group, and I was okay with the ambassador being kicked out. I thought that was a great idea. But nevertheless, Israel, right? Let's start talking about Israel. And how we haven't seen Gillian Siegel, the person who's supposed to be talking on behalf of Jewish population, she's absent after the Nazis did their thing on the weekend. Why is that, do you think?
She's absent.
Yeah, we haven't heard from her. She's supposed to be in charge of
the... Maybe she's received threats.
Sorry?
Maybe she's received threats.
Well, she's probably received heaps and heaps of threats. But which would be sad. I'm not suggesting that anybody threatened her. Far from it. I hate violence. But
Yeah, maybe she's received credible threats. She's get lots of threats, and it's just some drunk idiot, right? But
well,
maybe they
she's
received
well,
credible threats.
I believe she's so there's this conference happening up in Queensland at the moment, and the conference is has got a whole host of. It's been paid for by the Jewish community, right? And it is gathering a whole host of people together. Where are they from? From local governments. So mayors from local governments around Australia are being paid to attend this conference about anti-Semitism in on the Gold Coast at a confidential and quiet and hidden location, apparently. And it was probably at a casino somewhere. But anyway, and as a result of that, there's some complaints that these people are being paid for by one aspect of the Jewish wing to be able to indoctrinate them in the behaviour, if you like, of the IDF. Whereas there are other Jewish wings that are complaining about the way this particular right wing, and I can't remember whether it's called something of Jewry. I can't remember who they are now, so I do apologise to them for that. But the point I wanted to make was, Avery, that there is a conflict between Jewish communities about actually what's happening in Gaza.
Oh,
And I wonder whether you've got any response to any of that.
there is definitely conflict between the different communities about the way that things should be happening in. They should be dealing with Hamas in Gaza. From what I've read, the majority of people in Israel are not don't support what Netanyahu's doing to the Gazan civilians. I would think that anybody that supports what Hamas is doing is not how can I put it? Not a nice person, right? All this that's currently going on started with Hamas. This current war started with Hamas attacking Israel on the 3rd of October 2023 or whatever the date was.
Yep. 7th. It was actually 7th of October 2023.
7th. I knew it was early October. I wasn't exactly sure what date it was. There's a lot of things that the Israelis are doing that I 100% disagree with. Right? There is no way they should be bombing hospitals. No way they should be bombing schools. They've got a really efficient, the IDF, very efficient soldiers. They've got the knowledge and the capability and the skills, to go into those tunnels and hunt down the. It's more dangerous for them, which is why they don't do it. But they've got what it takes to go into those tunnels and hunt down and kill the Hamas themselves. Right? Why they're shooting at they hear that there's a tunnel underneath that hospital, so it's easier and safer to just attack that hospital and cave in the caves and kill the.
I understand what you're saying. Even though there's not a heap of, it isn't that there isn't any evidence they haven't had these tunnels. What there isn't evidence of is the degree to which the IDF has described the tunnel infrastructure. So there are tunnels, no one's disputing that. But it's almost like the IDF had drawn up these little cities that exist underneath these, that don't exist. They don't exist, apparently. No one's noticed them. There was an interesting, I don't know if anybody's watched this, but there certainly was an interesting Four Corners program on Monday night, which was a replay of a BBC program that was banned in the UK. I think they've played it since, but it was banned in the UK, and it was relating to doctors in Gaza, and had conversations with them, some are now dead, about their experiences with the bombing around them, trying to help and save kids, and doing the work that they were doing under extreme circumstances. And one of them was asked whether or not they had noticed any Hamas workers, because what happened was, Avery, they would identify the IDF would say that if you're a doctor, you're a Hamas, you're working for Hamas. And so the doctors, when they had to leave the place after it had been bombed and everything, would take all their gear off, get back into civilian clothes, because they couldn't be identified as doctors, because then they would be tortured and killed. So, but these doctors also said, well, there's no evidence that they could see, and they were working in the hospitals, of tunnels and of Hamas walking in and out of them, because clearly to get to the tunnels, you had to get into the hospital. So they said that there was no such thing for them.
You don't clearly have to get in the hospital. It could be dug underneath the hospital.
True. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the point was
Right.
that they were saying,
but
they were saying also they were also saying that Hamas were seeking medical advice or medical support. They were, if they were injured, whatever, they'd come to the hospital, whatever.
And a doctor's obligation
Was
is
to
help
do
the
no
people
harm.
who need help.
Yeah.
Not deny them because they happen to be a Hamas terrorist.
But the question that the doctor said, we weren't asking them.
Yeah.
We didn't know. They could be someone from out in the community, whatever.
Yeah. Doctors first.
They weren't asking. They didn't.
The
didn't
first
come with
rule derived from the Hippocratic Oath is first do no harm.
Exactly.
Help. If somebody comes to a doctor for help, a doctor's obligation is to help. Don't refuse them because they're Sunni and I'm Shia. Don't refuse them because that person's a Catholic and I'm a Southern Baptist. Right?
Yeah.
That person needs help. I'm a doctor. I'm obligated by my oath to Apollo to serve to help that person. The IRA were declared. I can't read it.
The IRA were declared a terrorist organisation. There are millions of Irish that regarded them as freedom fighters, for example. Exactly,
Yep.
and I think to some extent you could look upon Hamas as being the
one
same.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. It's a very old expression.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good point, JB. I appreciate that. Do the IDF medics provide aid to enemy combatants? Yes, they do. They do, Baron. My point was that they actually they do provide aid, but also that the doctors didn't necessarily ask them either. So they didn't ask them whether they were Hamas or what they were. They just treated them like they would anybody else.
Yeah, the
which is the way it should be.
IDF medics are obligated under the Hippocratic Oath, if they swear that,
Yeah.
and under the Geneva Convention, because they're military. Geneva Convention governs their behaviour, which is
Yeah.
if you've got enemy combatants that have been injured, you treat them.
Yep. And this one is from Sean. If you're not a Jew, you're Hamas. If you don't agree with, I would argue that if you don't agree with the IDF, you're siding with the terrorists. It's a bit like us deciding, the Australian government deciding that they were going to recognise the Palestinian state.
I would say if you said that person said the Jew,
Yeah.
right? If you're not siding with them, you're siding with Hamas. So is that person suggesting you can't be neutral?
Yeah.
You can't see them on both sides. They're doing something bad, something evil.
Yeah.
If you want to point at a person, point at Netanyahu.
Oh, absolutely. I think Netanyahu's a terrorist, but I don't know what other people think. But nevertheless, I think he is, and I think his day in court will come. Who else will stand up for Palestine if not Hamas? Palestinians have no one protecting them. So true. And, and I guess this is the problem with the whole Gaza thing, isn't it, Avery? That no one is standing up to make an effort to protect Palestinians from the onslaught they're receiving from the IDF. And it's what an unfair fight it is when you consider the military power of the IDF, even if you consider the military power of Hamas. Like they're so unequal.
Yeah.
It's just not even a fair fight to start with.
that last comment you put up there,
Yep.
nobody. You've got to include the Palestinian leadership as well in that,
Yeah.
because I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. In 2005, for the sixth time, there was a two-state solution proposed,
Yeah.
and for the sixth time, the Israeli government, which didn't have Netanyahu at the time as prime minister, immediately accepted the proposal, and for the sixth time, the Palestinian leadership rejected it.
Yeah.
And they all every time they rejected it, it's because they wanted the entirety of Jerusalem, and the Jewish, all six plans had said, you get that chunk of Jerusalem, which is where the Al-Aqsa Mosque is.
Yeah.
We get the rest.
Yeah.
And six times the Palestinians rejected that. So that's why I said you've got to, where it says about nobody is supporting the Palestinians.
Yeah.
They're right, but you've got to include the Palestinians as well. Palestinian leadership.
GJB raised a good point. There's many living Jews living in Israel that do not agree with their government's actions, and ain't that the truth? I don't think that. I don't think the mainstream media either talk about that enough as well.
They
really.
don't. They don't.
Someone asked. I reckon this is a really interesting one. Oops, better not go there. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, get rid of that. Back to this. This might bring it up. No, still wrong one. I'll get it. I'll get it in a second. I realise what I've done wrong. Get rid of it. Start again. Right, this is the one.
It's about 200 kilometres by about 40 or 50 kilometres.
Is it really? I thought you might have known. So, Israel and USA support to be.
Can you read out the whole of it? No, I've got my.
Yeah, how large is Gaza? Right.
Yeah.
How powerful are Israel and USA supposed to be if they can't end a war against mostly civilians? Oh, someone who thinks exactly as I do. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, because this. See, it'd be Avery, like from where we are here, just a little bit further than Victor Harbour. That'd be about right? Adelaide.
About 200 kilometres. So we're.
It'd be further than that.
We'd be going up. I mean, if anybody watching this in the United States, or
let's go from here to Mount Gambier. Oh, that'd be even too far, I reckon.
That'd be too far.
Anyway, in Australia, we can see those dimensions, and believe me, they're not very big.
Port Wakefield.
Yeah. They're just not. It's not a big.
From Adelaide to Port Wakefield, then look at all the rest of Australia.
Yeah.
And that's the comparison between Gaza and the United States.
It's minuscule. So it's an interesting question. How powerful are Israel? I love it, man. That's the best question we've had. How powerful is Israel and USA supposed to be yet they can't end a war against mostly civilians?
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true. So if they can't end that war, so Harvey, I just want to carry on with this bit. So if they can't end the war, then what is this war really about?
Well, again, a couple of weeks ago I mentioned it. Hamas's attack is they've been firmly committed to the river to the sea, the utter elimination of the state of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're at war. They're never going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews, the current Israeli government is committed to the utter destruction of Hamas.
Yeah,
they're not going to do that either, because when PLO fell apart and started working with the Israelis and on these peace deals, that's when who was it? The PFLP. When they fell apart, Hamas rose from the ashes.
Yeah.
So you just kill all the Hamas current crop of Hamas fighters, another group will pop up somewhere. right?
And one wonders how effective the PLR, what are they called? Palestinian Liberation Front, whatever.
They've gone.
Well, they do. Well, who's the group that run the West Bank? Supposedly, they don't actually
PLO.
run it.
PLO.
PLO. Sorry, yeah, it's
Yeah.
PLO.
The
So
PFL were
Yeah.
another terrorist
Yeah, right.
organ. The PLO is a terrorist organisation. It's
but
not.
they're supposed to be running and managing the West Bank, though, aren't they?
Yeah, and they were supposed to be initially the idea was they would run Gaza as well.
Yeah.
But when they had an election in Gaza, the group that won developed into Hamas.
Yeah. Someone did say it was Yasser Arafat, of course, who you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huge
Okay, we've got to go because we've almost been here for an hour, and I find it tiring. I just want to say to people before we do go, can you please subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications, do what you need to do, and focus on there'll be more videos. And Avery, I'm so hoping that you're back next week. Any excuse, any reason why you wouldn't be?
None that I can think of.
Apart from the fact we can't get the technology to work, which seems to be
Apart from that, no.
recurring problem.
I enjoy doing these.
So stay online, mate. I'll get to you at the end of this. And thanks, buddy, for being here. And I just want to say that it's great. We've had lots of people that have joined the conversation. Really do appreciate the conversation. Continue the conversation amongst yourselves. If you would like to, I want to try and encourage some people to come online with me also. And if you've got a camera and a microphone, whatever, and have a direct conversation about things that matter to you. That's the way I would like my channel to be. So I'm just going to pop into the chat now my email address after I remember how to spell my name. So I've just popped it in here. So this is the email address I prefer you to contact me at. And if you'd like to have a 15, 20-minute conversation with Avery and myself, I can organise for you to come on as a guest and we can have that conversation about any subject that you like. You can have 10, 15 minutes to talk to the people that come online and we could have that conversation. In the meantime, I just want to say that it's been great you being with us and that look forward to seeing you on Tuesday when I do a live feed at 1 o'clock and I hope you can make that as well. Catch you then. Bye.